Hello and welcome to Explore Analytics. Today we're going to be talking about how to report on incorrect initial assignments, incidents that were misassigned when they were first created, and how to be able to report on that at an aggregate level. Um, this is something that will give you a lot of value, and we're going to show how Explore Analytics, with its unique capabilities of mashups and calculations, is uniquely positioned to be able to get you this kind of report. So let's talk about the goal and where we're headed. The idea here is that when a incident, or you could use this on other tables as well, is resolved, there's an assignment group that it sits with at the end of the process, and we want to know what percent of the time is that not the assignment group that it was originally assigned to. So, for example, here in this report example, we're seeing for cloud operation engineers, more than half the time, they're not the people that it was originally assigned to. So this is something that can really provide a lot of operational efficiency by looking and seeing, why are incidents not being directly assigned at the outset to the groups that are in the end resolving the issue. It might be because your automated assignment rules aren't working properly. It might be because there's issues in terms of determining which group it should go to initially from a diagnosis perspective, something informational they can really dig into and understand. But what we can see is that this is a great way to be able to reduce the time that it takes to resolve an incident by making sure that it gets to the right people straight at the beginning. So this is the report that we're building towards, but if you've tried to build reports similar to this in ServiceNow, you may discover that there's a little bit of a data problem that gets in the way. And the problem is you start with the initial group, it goes to a second, maybe third or fourth assignment groups, and then eventually is handed to the resolving assignment group. And we want to just simply look at where the initial assignment group and the resolving assignment group are not the same. But the problem here is that in terms of where that data sits, the incident table will store just the resolving assignment group. So if you create a report against the incident table, you're not going to have that information about the initial assignment group. However, there's a table in ServiceNow called the incident metric table, but that stores records for each of the assignment groups that it stores along the way. So, when you're looking at one incident and you're trying to build a report like this, you're going to have multiple records for initial assignment groups, second assignment groups, resolving assignment groups. And what we want to do is we want to get one report that brings all of this information together. And that's where Explore Analytics is going to use its powerful mashup capabilities, its calculation capabilities, to turn this, pile of different records into a tidy report that really gets you where you want to go. So let's take a look at how we build that. Anytime in Explore Analytics we want to pull together data from multiple tables, we use something called a mashup view. And the way that the mashup view works is we're going to create individual reports on the different tables we want to combine and then mash them together. So here, I have a list report on the ServiceNow incident table that is looking at the resolving assignment group, which in this case is for incidents that are closed or resolved. We're just bringing together the number of the incident and the assignment group field. If you want more fields to report on later, you may want to add more fields to this report, but for right now, we're really going to be looking at it through the lens of what's the resolving assignment group. Now, right now, this is called assignment group, but that might turn out to be confusing as we bring together the initial and the resolving and all of that. So I'm actually just going to click on this field, and I'm going to relabel this resolving assignment group. That way, we don't get confused as we mash this together. Now I'm going to look at another report that I made. So this is a report on the incident metric table, and it's going to have all of the groups that it passes through on its way to being resolved. So it's on the incident metric table. We're filtering based on, only assignment group metrics, so we don't bring in, state metrics or things like that. And we have here the number and the value field, which on the incident metric table stores the value, the name of the group. Now, that's going to be confusing later on, so just like with the other one, I'm going to relabel this to be initial assignment group. Now, at the moment, it's showing all of the assignment groups, but in the process of mashing it up, we're going to restrict it to the initial assignment group. Just for right now, know that we've got all the assignment groups, and we're calling this the initial assignment group. I'm also going to sort And the reason that I want to sort is because I want to control how this data merges in. I have here a hidden field, which is when the metric instance was created, which is the same as when it was assigned to that group. And I'm going to sort on that from newest to oldest. The reason is because when we merge the data in, when there's multiple incident metrics for each instance, the one that is going to show up in our final report is the last one that gets merged in. So what we want is the last one to be merged in to be the first assignment group that was created. In other words, newest to oldest. That's going to help us when we merge and do that and discard the data that we don't want. Now that I've set this up this way, we'll see how this works really up close in a moment. I'm going to create a new mashup view, and I'm going to select the two reports that I've already created. So one is called Resolving Incident Assignment Group, and the other one is called All Assignment Groups. And we're going to call this List of Misassigned and Correctly Assigned Incidents. It's a bit of a long title, but I'm doing this so that we can follow what exactly is going on. So now I have a list. It has from the incident table all of the resolving assignment groups, and from the incident metric table all of the assignment groups. But we only want that initial assignment group. The reason that we're seeing this right now this way is because by default, when you mash up two lists, we just put all the rows together to make one table that has all of those rows. But that's not what we want here. So I'm going to select Mashup Options, and instead of just adding the second table's rows to the first, we're going to merge them in. They're going to merge based on a key, which in this case is that incident number, because that's present on both tables, which is, a really great way of merging that in. If the key doesn't match, it's going to skip the row. So it's going to throw out any incident metrics that don't have an incident to connect to on the table. And then the other thing it's going to do is if there's multiple records on the second table, in this case the incident metric table, with the same key as the first table, then the last one that it comes across is the one that it merges in. That's why we had it so that the initial assignment group would be the last incident metric record. So now we can see that there is the resolving assignment group from the incident table, so in this case, say program managers, and then the initial assignment group. So this was originally assigned to London, and it eventually was assigned to the program managers group. Another one like this RMA approvers was initially assigned to RMA approvers, and it ended up with them. So based on the assumption that we want the initial assignment group to be the group that eventually resolves it, we can see that some of these are misassigned and some of these are assigned. But of course, what we have here is just a flat list. It's not, really something reportable. So let's turn this into something that we can very easily report on it by creating a composite view on this view. And we're going to call this number of misassigned incidents. A composite view treats this table that we created by merging this together as if it was in table of service now. So you can see that the fields that are available are all of the fields that were on the input view, but now I could switch it to a pivot or a chart. So I could here create a pivot. So we'll call this the number of misassigned incidents. So what we'll do is we'll group it by, say, the resolving assignment group, and we'll relabel this count to be misassigned incidents. So it's giving us the count. And then in order to get the misassigned count, we're going to get where the resolving group is different from the initial assignment group. That's our definition of a misassigned incident. Now I'm going to make a copy of this, and we're going to say number of all incidents, and we're going to remove the filter. We're also going to relabel this field to be total incidents. So now what I'm going to do, and this is pretty cool I think, is we're going to mash up these two reports again so that we have two different reports that we've built on this table, and we're going to be able to use them to build a cool calculation. So number of all incidents, number of reassigned incidents or misassigned incidents, and we'll call this % incidents misassigned. So now have stitched together the incident and incident metric table. I've created this measure of misassigned incidents and combined it with the measure of the total incidents. I'm going to filter out any that don't have misassigned incidents. So now I'm only looking at the incidents that had some misassignments, and I'm going to create a metric. I'm going to say misassigned incidents as a percent of total incidents. So now I have a report that shows me every assignment group that was not initially assigned incidents that they wound up resolving. For some of these, it might be because the incident assignment rules are wrong. It may be because there was some confusion or misdiagnosis up front. But I can see here that maybe if I focus on these groups' incidents and how incidents are reaching them, maybe I can find some efficiencies and some cost-saving benefits to make sure it gets to them quicker. Now, this method can create a number of different reports. This pivot is just one example. We could do, charts. We could do, trends on this information, but just showing you that by putting together mashups, calculations, composite views, you can stitch together records from multiple tables into one clean report that gives you the information that you want to see. And I didn't have to make any changes to ServiceNow. I didn't have to write any code. I didn't have to create any custom fields or test any JavaScript or apply any update sets to ServiceNow. So with all of this, we've turned this problem of having, scattered data on multiple tables into this kind of a solution. Good luck. Look forward to seeing the different types of reports you build with these misassigned incident reports and the cost savings and efficiency that you get out of it.